It looks like we're live. We're actually live. I thought I was streaming about 30 seconds ago. Apparently not. Hi, Ben here from Second Dynasty. It is streaming time. You may hear some disruptions around as we do have some peeps in the office, namely John at the moment, and I think Albin is down in the dungeon where he has been painting and really inhaling those fumes. Sorry about that. I took some medicine for anti-coughing, but it seems like it's not really working very well. Hi folks. Let's see. We've got Tamsin, we've got that blasted Semiflange, we've got Rutger, Anders, we've got Kathy. Welcome everyone to those who are directly participating in the chat. We love it when you do. You can ask your questions. I know that blasted Semiflange is going to ask a bunch of different questions. It looks like you might have written something already, or are they just comments? I'm not sure. Anyway, Albin is bringing things up from the dungeon and making noises. Like I said, he's been sniffing paint. And yeah, there have been a few developments over the last week, as you can kind of see there in the background. What am I working on? This is actually Photoshop. And I was just photoshopping together a composition is the word I'm looking for. We're going to do a little bit of show and tell today. I'm pretty stressed out because we have only 6 days left until we are launching our next campaign. And it is a little bit nerve-wracking because we've got so much to do. The painting probably not going to be to a state that we can really photograph anything until Monday. So it's going to be a stressful pitch video, a stressful campaign creation. Lieselot's coming back on Monday, which will be nice to get the extra help with the graphics. I've been trying to get this picture, and this is really my work for the day. But it's a cool composition, I think. And the contender stand-in at the moment for our we're going to put it up on the preview campaign. You can find the link in the description, by the way. So do sign up if you haven't already. I think we've got about 300 and a little bit of change subs. I think 330, something like that. I haven't actually checked in a while. And I'm not sure I dare either, because we did get some slowdown on that. Let's see. I think looks like we've got 340 followers at the moment, which is not bad. Not bad. 1,000 would be great, but I'll take 340. And of course, I haven't wanted to reach out too much because we still are waiting on the releases for the deck plans. And so I didn't really want to do a big push there until we have something proper to show. Of course, now that we're live, I have the itchy nose syndrome. Albin is throwing the models all over the place. Putting everything on the table where we can't actually look at it.
Yeah, but can't you bring your camera?
Not really. It's kind of attached now.
All right.
So we're going to have a one-by-one show and tell.
That's kind of a pain.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be doing a show and tell shortly, and I will be showing you. Never an itchy nose except when live streaming. Yeah, or that's when you become aware of it. Sorry. So many comments. Nice to see. A lot to follow up on. The Gary class ships are my second favorite. The hornet crab? What? Hornet crab? I think there's a hornet and then there's a spider crab. But anyway, sorry. If I'm not making too much sense, guys, I thought we'd look in and break down what this scene actually requires, all the cool goodies that are actually inside of it, and we will have a bit of a show and tell. We might have a shorter session today. Albin is risking fate to bring us. Oh, okay. You're gonna make me do this now and drop it. So let's see. Let me get the close-up camera on,
Oh my god.
and Albin is showing off, yes, the painted. This is the Hornet.
Yeah.
Which I guess is, you can see the painting process is there because he's taped up around the triangle.
Yes.
You can see one of the landing pads here. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe take those in 2 different hands. He will bring me a couple of different models. John, do you think it's time to tell them the abomination?
It's always time to talk about the abomination.
I'm sorry guys, I have to share this. I don't even want to touch it. There is a new Benjaminin.
It's Office Benjaminin. He uses his tongue as a rowboat around the office. If you're not working, he hits you with it.
He's very orange.
Oh my god.
Or at least on camera he's very orange. Look. Take it away, please. Please, put it on Lieselot's spot. Alright, let's get to something more interesting. We've got the spider crab. Looking much nicer now that it's beginning to be painted up. We do need some finishing touches on these things. They're not quite completely finished. But you can see some progress there. Looking nice. Like, we'll go over it with a felt pen and add a little bit more detailing maybe. Thank you, Albin. Yeah, I finally printed the Astrofire. I think it's down getting base coated.
Oh, it's right there.
It's right there.
Yes.
Is it already base coated?
No.
No.
But you can see
Okay,
the
so
model
yeah,
first.
I just wanted to show it off. So here we have our... I think I might actually reprint, because many of the parts are from the old one, but you can kind of see the Mark IV really did a fantastic job on those wings. And compared to like the old style wing, like this is from... Like, I don't know if you guys can actually see this. It's a bit... But it's really noticeable to me anyway, the markings there, and then you can kind of see the detail here. I think it's a much nicer print. So just the wings and the rear section are new, as well as the guns are slightly different on this version. So yeah, we might reprint that tonight. We have lots and lots and lots of missiles. And we'll get to that in a little bit. Let's see, anything else of note?
I mean, we could show the wall segment, I guess.
Yeah, if you think you can move it without destroying it.
Need to be very... I'm known for being careful.
Oh yes.
Yes.
So careful. So you can see here some of the outposts. The doors, of course, close and open.
And there is a little man up there.
There is a little guy.
Yay. And you can play, you can shoot each other.
Yes.
And I don't know.
Yes. Shoot each other or yourself if you have to continue this conversation. Anyway, there goes the coughing again. Maybe I guess we've got questions and comments here, so maybe I should read through some of those. Let's see. The horror. I'm guessing that's about Benjaminin. Looks great. Let's see. We have BSG Vipers. When do we get the 3-seater Cylon craft from the OG BSG? By your command? No. By my command. I don't know to answer that. I don't know if we'll do something like that. Will we have sidewalls for the comm tower for those planets that are very cold / hostile environments? You can already close it. There are bonus parts. We chose to expose 2 sides because that way you can use the stairwell and actually play with it, right? So there are already parts if you want to close it in. There's not really a sealed airlock or anything like that, but you know, this is really bare bones sort of stuff. John is saying that he retracted a message and that he's happy to be here with us and all of the lovely people. I don't really want to know what that was. Is John a permanent resident now? No, he's just visiting for 3 months. Alright, So, I guess that concludes the show and tell for now. The tower is being processed as well. Why don't we check out what's behind this? So you can kind of see in Photoshop there's a bunch of different layers. This is actually the beta version of Photoshop that has the new AI features. So it's not really greatly apparent, but the background image here I actually generated using Midjourney, and the picture that I'm going to show you, Maya, as a basis, and I kept iterating until I got this. And the original picture is only about this big, and then Photoshop has actually AI generated the rest of it. The resolution is not that great. I'm guessing they're going to hide that behind a paywall or something, but for our purposes, I was only going to put on a depth of field anyway, so it really didn't matter. So this composition, we've got our fighters. I've just put in a couple of different layers to get some very basic volumetric lighting going on. You can see some interesting things happening in the background, such as, for example, we've got pilots running as they scramble. We have some people guarding the fort, sort of thing. So yeah, and of course we have our 8 different aerospace craft that will be featuring. What you might not be able to see, well, let's get into the Maya scene and see what we're doing. I think I will save this up. And just so you guys know, we might be doing a shorter session today. Again, I think I mentioned it at the top of the show. I can't remember because I'm stressed. So yeah, I'm just saving out Photoshop because it does have a tendency to steal memory and cause crashes. So I don't know that we'll be doing too much modeling today. Here we have my scene that I rendered from. You can see that the Garou baths, or the Garou series, is black for some reason. I think it's to do with Arnold's shaders in the viewport. And in fact, it has been like that before too with metallic things. You kind of have to do a little bait and switch trick. But if I switch cameras, we can actually look at what's going on in this scene. And you can see like my background image is an approximation. It's like a photo that someone has taken of an area, a much sort of smaller scale than the vistas I was showing off before. So yeah, if I switch cameras now to my perspective, you can kind of see the scene as I've set it up. This is all about just lighting what we have. But aside from the ships, we have our wonderful outpost, and it's actually, you can see here, it's actually on an angle. So what I'm going to do is just save this scene real quick. It's a large scene, but actually most of it's referenced in. I talked about references last week. So, let us select this entire group here, and we can kind of see over here it's rotated 5 degrees. So I'm going to turn that off. This is all for just achieving perspective with the cameras, right? And I'm also going to just stop showing my lights. Actually, maybe we do want the lights, but we just don't want to select it. I'm going to go to select, deselect all, Alt-D, I need to remember that. And actually, I'm just going to turn off our fighters, although before I do that, yeah, what is this? Let's see, I think we got another one in here. That's a new one. New one. And another new one. Oh, very good. So I'm going to turn off my aircraft now. And the point of that was basically just to ensure that we can have a good squiz at the scene here. So this is really what you call a composition. There's no floor here. I might just, I did have a plane somewhere. Where was that? Let's see. move scene. Let's expand that, and it would be this P plane here. So really, I just dropped a quick and dirty plane into the scene. Let's see, Alt D it said. So you can see it's not colored or anything, but that was basically just to get the floor fairly leveled. Canon aliens. What? Will we get some Garo themed pilots? Not at the moment. They're basically Zentradi humanoids anyway, so it's more a color scheme thing. We've got some Sleipnir crew miniatures here. You can see we have, those of you that might have been on Tribes, we've had this sort of base here. You can see what I called the High Mars, but really it's just a SAM. So we did a version with this radar tower. I really can't remember what we had last week, but I don't think we had these stairs in. This is a part of what I'm calling the flight deck accessories pack, which includes a few other vehicles as well. Of course, this would look much better if I turn off the lighting altogether. You can kind of see a little bit better, and we get more responsiveness. So this is our little tanker rover. We also have a little personnel rover, kind of inspired by that little machine thing that they drove around at the end of Star Wars. It just built out a very rough area. It doesn't make too much sense because there's actually nowhere for the pilots or other crew to eat, sleep, and relax. We do have the finished tower here, and yes, we do have some paneling that can fit in here if you would like to close it all off with a little doorway there. There's no proper ceiling at the moment. I don't think there will be. We have control panels in here, brand new seats with these little wheelie bottoms. They're quite nice to print, very easy. John has worked on those. We have these nice solar panels on the top. Our hatch is fit into place. I don't know why that's better. There we go. It was happening. The edges were a little bit funny. Let's see, Alt D. So yeah, the hatch comes up. We can sort of see down the ladder well into there now. So yeah, this outpost isn't really designed for hostile atmospheres, but we have some antennas and stuff. Let's see, Alt D. You can see here there's a couple of different scenes here from a place someone's visited. Obviously, there's this probably leads to parking or something. So yeah, we got our landing pads. I just put in the shuttle here. We worked on the main gates, and they were lovely to work with. And of course, there's this sort of working gantry as well. So what we could do is save this up again. Actually, I don't think I need to save, and we could go in and take a look at... Well, actually, before we leave, let's have a look at some of the pilots. This is by a new person I have not worked with before. Koni Mikado. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name right. A Brazilian artist. Does some good work. We've got some stuff coming from both Blasted Camouflage and Kaishinenko as well. So you can kind of see the scramble poses here. All in all, we've probably got, I think, 12 different variants of the pilots, male and female, with and without helmets. Some of them will save for stretch goals, some of them will go straight into the pack. And you can kind of see we have our Marines from the Sleipnir. We've got Gunter there. So yeah, I think you get a pretty decent idea about what you can build with this set. The outpost, I think, I'm very very happy with how it's turned out. And I hope you guys like the look of it as well. So yeah, the Blasted Camouflage is making a very cool little scene where I asked for an alien weapons arm stealer, and I'm excited to see the full results. You can see some of them already on our Discord. I think that link might be in the description. If we don't have it there, we're kind of insane at this point for not having it there. But let's open up a different scene and have a look. So I'll just tour the Starfighter accessories very quickly. So we're sort of getting with production complete on all of our I can't really say all of our offerings, because here is what's coming in the pack. Of course, the SAM is fully printable. The other things are not. They're just concepts at the moment that will have to turn into 3D printable models. But obviously, they're based on existing models. They are slightly different. So it's different floor paneling, a different rear end, for example. So it's not perfectly the same, but you get an idea about what would be included in that pack. We may eventually add 1 or 2 more items if we think of it. Alien weapon arms dealer. It's just arms with weapons in them. Yeah. Let's see. So that was just a brief tour of that one. The miniatures we've already looked at. And the outpost. You can kind of just see the mess that's in here if I unhide things. I'm really reaching for things to show you guys this week. Not really. You can see the completed version that I've imported. Much cleaner, obviously. So all that other stuff is set dressing that I've imported in just for that render. And if I turn on the workshop layer, you can see we have a bunch of stuff that we've not used. And in fact, some of this is slightly different. Like I just made some platforms in the corner. So it is very modular. It's very useful. You can potentially make angles. I haven't really figured them fully out yet. They're not really going to be designed from the start. I think basically the idea is to look and see what the response is with the modular outpost. And if people want more, we can do that. Let's open up these Starfighters. Wait, let's see. This is one that I haven't shown off. Oh, and that reminds me too, we have something else for July, but it's further down the road. If we'll take a look at the missiles in a second, but let's just break briefly to see something that John's actually worked on. Following everything else, here is the Epsilon. Definitely not Y-wing.
Epsilon.
Epsilon. What shape is an epsilon again?
Who knows?
So yeah, do you mind?
Yeah, of course.
So this is I almost attached one of the bombs. So this is a bomber. Can kind of see. Something that John's been experimenting with. It's actually massive. And yeah, we have some bombs on the bottom. Some of my design, some of your design, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is some kind of bomber. It's coming in July to Tribes. And John's actually working on another one too. And the reason for that being that Albin will be temporarily working on a film series. So yeah. Did you want to mention something?
There's only one ship for July. Work on another one for the...
Yeah. There's only one for July. Relax, it's okay. There's also a new Captain Ben pose, I believe.
Yes, it's already been printed.
It's already been released, so check that out on Tribes. And of course, on Wednesday when we launch, we also will be launching the what are we calling it? Minotaur APC. Albin is test printing it at the moment. Actually, he's down in the cellar painting like a madman. But in here, you can actually see, let's turn off that lighting, the arrangement of missiles for the missile pack. So we have our sort of Storm Shadowy type cruise missile. Let me just make sure I've got the chat on here, because, so many things. Does the APC still scrape paint through the gate? No, it doesn't. We widened the gate by half an inch, I think it was, all up. So it should have 1/4 of an inch either side. do you think that the missiles would be more effective if we called the hit tiles instead? Maybe, I don't know. Looks great. Nice work, John. Woo!
It's all thanks to you, sir.
Yes. Film series. Well, he's going to be working on with Doku's animation on post-production for one of their films. This is a project that we talked about over a year ago. So yeah, it's September to November. He will be full-time on that project, which means that the tribe's work will have to go to me and John. And actually, John's got a ton of new ideas. Don't worry, I'm also going to be involved in things. But we want to make sure we got plenty of content ahead of things, because I'm going to have to focus almost all of my time on this campaign, making sure everything's delivered, and also on the next campaign, the modular cutter, which I need to start before I go on holidays. Somehow. We'll see. And then towards the end of the year, what we're talking about is doing a sort of like update to Scout Ship Beta, but doing it in a way where it's like, here is the Hammerhead standalone ship. So the Hammerhead front section got an update already. It's an excuse to go over, the rest of the things. We'll just do it as a frontier, release it at sort of Christmas time, and that'll be our sort of like. But the modular cutter will be the big one, I guess, for the year. So yeah, we've got a variety of missiles in 3 different categories. We've got micro missiles and sort of short range missiles. We have this sort of Macross style launcher here, which can technically take 5 missiles. You can load them in. Sorry, 10 missiles. Not the 15 of other things. We have some heavier missiles and a bomb. Bomb is sort of like mostly retro style, but I kind of like it. And all of these use John's awesome system for attaching things, and we have a variety of like 3 different kinds of attachments with 2 variants each, and then we've got a bunch of different missiles with different fin configurations, thruster configurations. So there's a couple of like space to space, a couple like air to air, that sort of thing. So you can put a lot of variety on, and I can see us potentially doing several more missile types as like, because they're fairly easy stretch goal or social goal type things. Well, social goals we've got to think about too. Jeez. So yeah, basically that's where we're at. I should have probably also offered something for free, now that I think about it, but hey, we're running out of time. So I will go back in finally to my Starfighter scene, and we will take one final look at things longingly, because next week when we're streaming, I guess we'll be launching the campaign. I can kind of see my brains, but yeah, this is kind of where we're at. Do we have any questions before we finish up? I wanted to check in, make sure that everyone is happy. We've got quite the collection of Starfighters at the moment. I kind of like patched up the Arrow Mark II a little bit. Like, well, not patched it up, but I colored it a little bit since last time. I don't think it was this kind of livery before. And I'm gradually just trying to make this a little bit more colorful, but of course we don't have here the pirate cutter. That's a sort of separate thing. So yeah, you can kind of see the missiles there again. I did make a side view too that I rendered, and so many weapons. So I think you guys will be happy with what we have to offer. There's a ton of stuff. It's coming Wednesday. I'm going to assume, because no one's writing anything in the chat. Oh wait, here we go. Any chance of a tactical Starfighter Squadrons miniatures, like 4 to 5 small ships on a tactical base? I hadn't thought of that. We are considering scale miniatures of them for stretch goals. I hadn't thought of actual squadrons. That's an interesting idea. Maybe we could kind of do it like the missiles. Something to consider. And that way too, you could kind of decide. Sorry, dashed upstairs to do some real work. No worries, but if you do have a question, we're going to wrap things up in a sec, so I'll just... any more Kilrathi-inspired designs coming? Not at the moment. I mean, we did have a poll, or we are having a poll, between which of these two ships will get the Arrow Mark II treatment. I would like to do more, like, make some of these designs a little, like, offer a little bit more variance. I think too, like, one of the things I've been thinking of just for resale value is that we might, make some shuttle variants. Like we have our little runabout version right here. We could actually, make that into its own product instead of just having, the standard shuttle Mercury. That's what it's called. We never use the name. So yeah, and there is somewhere an alien spaceship where this gun came from, but it's very low poly, but it's quite large. It's one of 3 of its turrets, so that gives you an indication of how big it was. So let's see, a weapon mount for the grav truck, a technical. Oh right, you mean for the little rover? When you say grav truck, it really sort of gives away that you're coming from the traveler aspect of things. It looks Halo. Funnily enough, I've never actually played any Halo games. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining us today. It's been about half an hour. I've been rambling on. I can see myself about to have a coughing fit. Please, if you haven't, do visit the link in the description to reserve the page so that we can go live on Wednesday with the maximum amount of impact. Be sure to spread the word too. We'll be making some social media posts in the next couple of days to really ramp up towards that. If you do see us posting, please jump on, like, comment, show your excitement and enthusiasm for the upcoming campaign. It really does make a difference, sort of like directing traffic towards it. So, thank you guys for joining. We will be back next Wednesday with the actual campaign start. So we'll probably be doing 4:30, so about an hour and a half later than normal, until about, I guess 5:30 or something like that. We'll see how we go. So, guys, thanks again. See you next week. You guys are awesome. Bye-bye.